I hope it lets me record.
Yay.
Is this recording? Are we live yet or no? It's not
Let me
live.
check. Let me check your. I just
Streaming
checked your
cues.
name, right? Your name there, Christy Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Christy Campbell, C33. That's so funny. You have the same number I do. 33.
I know.
Streaming keys is gonna be
That's
the
upcoming.
streaming keys. Okay, let me get it. It says streaming URL is gonna be what's gonna be our streaming URL on there? How do I find that on the okay.
That's weird because usually when you go to more, or you can go, well, it doesn't let me hear, but usually because you're the host.
Yep.
So you go into more, you go recording, live stream, and then on the top it'll say YouTube or whatever your laptop is already set to record. You have to set the Zoom to YouTube. I'm sure you have it, right? So you just click YouTube. And then you wait for the little screen on YouTube to pop up on the other tab. And as soon as you okay, so you have to click your email
YouTube.
because it'll ask you.
Okay. I'm going to YouTube now and there to make sure.
Okay. So then when you go to YouTube, it'll ask you about your email and click on your email, the one that is attached to YouTube, and then it'll take you to the live screen. But then you're going to have like a reverb. So you have to shut down, X out the YouTube once it's recording. It'll tell you recording on the top. Let's see.
Okay, so waiting.
Okay, I'll check your thing again. If by any chance it doesn't work,
I'll just re-enter that in there on the stream.
Yeah.
I thought I had it.
We can always go online or whatever, but it should work. John W is waiting. Jack Flynn, rolling 20s.
Just tell them we're just setting it up. If you want to talk to them a minute.
Yeah, I'll just say
tell
waiting.
them we're fixing live view connection, scheduled stream. And then yes. So on the main stream there, then it says set up help. Then okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna live stream it from there. I just want to help live stream on the custom, not the custom, but the YouTube. Okay. Because then I know, then I know that key. Then I know that will be, because I'm used to doing it that way. I'm just going to do it the way I know, and then I know it'll record 100%, like that. Okay. So live stream, and I'm going to YouTube right now. Okay.
Yes, ready? That's exactly right.
Now there's my email. I got hot flashed all of a sudden. Let me turn on the air.
So Miss Wixon, I miss you already. Haven't seen you in a year now.
Since you're out here,
I see you on Brad Olson's feed on Facebook, and you're just like all hanging out, and I was like, man, I miss that. I want to go.
Okay,
a friend of ours. We hung out at.
Ready?
All right. Okay. Live stream. Here we go.
Yes, let's do it. It says it's being recorded. Let's see.
Here we go. All right, Kristy, you get the floor.
Hey, I want to thank everybody, first of all, for having me here. Kristy Campbell, Veronica, and Susan Long today. It's a pleasure to be here. Guess tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of Lyrian technology, and anything anybody wants to ask me, feel free. I do have a feline panel here on the floor. So things that I may not be able to answer, I'm sure my counterparts will be able to, and let's go. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Kristy Wixon. I go by Aire Offworld. I am a Lyerian K'tai from a planet called Maa'Kaa. Now, Maa'Kaa was in the Lyra Vega star system. It ranged between the 7th and the 9th dimension, and it is in this universe. That is not originally where the Lyrians, or we call ourselves the Lyrians, come from. We are outside of this universe. This universe is called Universe 0, so we actually come from Universe 1. And that is out of the universal domains. So there are other areas called universal domains where time flows in a different way. It doesn't even exist on certain domains. In those domains and areas, there are an original species of Lyerian called we called them the elders. They were our elders, so that's what we called them. The Guardian teachings know them as the Ishan Nue, but they are actually the elders of the Lyrians, and they were the original founders of all the Lyrians. They came from a domain called Isaria, and in this domain, there was one constellation called Heptalis, and Heptalis had 7 stars, and each star was actually a soul. So these souls embodied felines, and they moved from one big major consciousness of a soul to 7 souls, and they would communicate with other beings in other parts of the galaxies. They were watchers, they were guardians, they were our elders. So if anybody wants to ask questions, I can get off on a subject, so feel free.
Yeah, keep going, because I'm taking notes too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me take you a little bit then down from Isaria. So coming down through Isaria, all right, if you can picture the vastness of our universe. So we'll start there. And outside of our universe, there's many other universes, but there's a mega multiverse, and then we have an omniverse, and then we have super universes. Many super universes, or great universes within those super universes. And there is what we call the Great Central Sun. That is going back to an area that it is known for the creational process, or the creational hub in this universe. We call it Hanova, and it's the sub hub for the creational process of this universe. So a lot of things stem from there, although we are not it's not near us right now. We're kind of far from it. Throughout the years, Source wanted to experience beings in form. So these forms split off from prime consciousness through the great void of the all-knowing. And during the birthing process, when the prime consciousness decided to come into form, it came down through the ether fields and the plasma fields, where it was embodied and created into a form that gave free will to these forms that wanted to take form and to learn things. The thing is, when you become from a consciousness state to a light body state to a form state, you separate yourself from creation, but you don't have to ever be completely separated from it, because we are part of creation. We hold that creation with us. The original consciousness, the original template, the original blueprint, even with the DNA that we now have has been created to support a form, a life form. What happens is that through the processing, many souls have lost their connection to source down through the dimensional realities and interdimensional realities. So in like 70, 12D down to 1st D, they've lost that connection to source, even though they embody source in themselves, because we're part of creation. So we are creation. And that's what the Lyrians were intended. They intended to create a species that could stay connected to source and hold the original 12-strand DNA blueprint. And that was what they called the human race. It wasn't really human, it was human. It came from a system that was created out into the Lyra Vega system. It was part of the cradle of Lyra as well. That was the original seeding of the human race. So these beings were created, as many others were created all over, and focusing on the Lyrians, there was many planets in the Lyra Vega system. My planet was called Maa'Kaa, where I lived for many years. There was an original planet out there called Kasta, and Kasta was the place that my species, my hybridized species called the K'tai, were actually created. It was we were a hybridized race from the Ta'ali and the La'ani. So the Ta'al and the La'ani created the K'tai. So there's many different species or races. There was a race called the Nor that lived out there as well. And the Irma, but the Irma were bigger. They were more muscled. They wore great armor. They were great warriors, and we were warriors too, but we were more of an anthro-feline race. We had softer fur and more of a human type bodies and features, where they were just like really, big and muscular and stuff. We had strength, but we looked more human because of our genetics from the other two races that were hybridized our race. So,
because you had said that I come from the Irma.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, you do. The Irma were settled on Avion. And Avion. Yeah, Avion. There were many planets that were settled in the Pleiade system. We ended up going to a planet called Taygeta later to actually have some of our cubs. And this was after the Orion Wars, because they were seeking out safe refuge there after the Shi'Akar came in and destroyed a lot of the planets. So yeah, the Irma are amazing. They're between about 9 and 15 feet tall. They're actually taller than the K'tai. They're bigger. They live to be about 2,000 years old, whereas our K'tai species live to be only about 1,500. So,
I have a question.
Yeah.
I wonder where I come from, because I always say that I'm Lyrian as well, and I have 2 children that are also Leos, and I have had experiences where I have been in the planet of the lions, and they're huge. And I have also had the tiger Bengal be with me, and Ivan Teller said that I'm also a Bengal tiger. I've also seen the Siberian tigers in my dreams, and one of the very really awesome stories that I have, and if I can just have like maybe 2 minutes, I'll explain really fast.
Yeah.
So in 2017, 2018, I had a dream where I was in a woman's home with long brown hair. She was older, maybe in her 50s, 60s. And then she had me come in, and then she turned into a young woman with the long brown hair, and then she turned into a humanoid lion. Okay, her features were soft, but she was a lion, full-blown lion, humanoid. Okay, and then her husband was there, and then they had a baby, and the baby boy had like reddish hair, was in a diaper, and the house turned into the outside, like a forest, and it was snowing. And I thought, wow, what am I doing here? And I told the man, I said, aren't you afraid that your baby's going to be cold? Because he's just wearing a diaper, no socks. Oh, he'll be all right, he said. And they were all, Lyrian, humanoid lions. And then he opens up a warehouse for me and he takes out, like, where you go to the rodeo and there's like the stalls to sit down or whatever you call them. And there's a bunch of shoes, like all kinds of shoes, hiking shoes, all kinds, but they're all white. And I didn't know who this couple was until I think it was 2020 or 2021. I met them online, and I just recently got back from seeing them there in Montana. And they are Mr. and Mrs. Snow. And right before I left the visit, there was, a bunch of those seats for the rodeo. He says, yeah, we have bull riding twice a year. And I said, wow, we have a rodeo here in Tucson also. But I just find it really interesting because when I said that, there was a vehicle in front of me and he said, look, V, it says trust. And I'm like, what? And I'm still getting goosebumps right now because it's meant to be. Like, I have my dreams in the astral, which are memories pretty much. I always say I come from the future. Like, most of the dreams that I have, I'll say 85 to 90% come true. And then I'll meet the people. So it's a great honor to be here with you guys.
Oh,
thank you.
that's really great. Thank you for that story. I just kind of picking up the energy signature of the lions you were talking about. They just seem more K'tai like, with the soft fur and the more of the, the human features, the anthropic features. Do you remember like any of the planet that you might have been on, or anything that the sky or what it looked like?
It was like a bluish greenish sky, and it looked just like the jungle, but most of the lions were way above, and it was these huge rocks and mountain area, and it was just all planets of lions they were like real lions. They had all the fur and everything, and I just felt like home.
Well, that's amazing. I was just trying to see if maybe it wouldn't be Maa'Kaa, but it doesn't sound like it's Maa'Kaa. There are millions of planets that are very close together, especially in the Lyra Vega system. And in certain sectors, there are fire planets like ash planets. One race is called the Kasta. They're the original fire cats. They don't really live far from Vega Prime. And there's our planet was out there, Maa'Kaa was out there, but we had 2 suns, we had 3 moons, and we had more of a purple and magenta colored sky. So when the sun setted and everything fell, on the land, everything was really purple and magenta. And so that was beautiful. Yeah. But there are so many planets out there. Avion, I believe, was called Egoria at one time. So there are so many systems within a system or within a sector, and then we call it, it gets confusing. But when you get so many feline planets next to each other in one area, you can have, you could have hundreds of planets in that one area.
I know I've been in Prime as well, but anyway, go ahead, Christy. Sorry.
How would they get along? Like if they was all in a meeting, and so how would you see them all getting along, all the different races of the cat people?
They get along fairly well. Cats are, they hold a high honor amongst their houses, and an integrity. And it's bred into them. It's installed into them to hold that honorability. They are beings of light, so they actually harness a lot of light. They work with crystal tech. When I was on Maa'Kaa, I learned how to do light sculpting, so I could take my hands and I could actually create light from them, and then I could actually sculpt things with the light. Which I made a Merkaba for the very first time, and I was so excited. It actually worked.
Yeah.
things have been, they're all alchemized. We use alchemy. Even our, so, and I will tell you, I wanted to tell you one thing. So back home on Maa'Kaa, there was a temple, and it was called the Alabaster Temple in the Living Library. And so our records were held within that living library. We had a specific stone called the Hearthstone, and that was where the information was kept into. There was also a beautiful garden. We had many beautiful gardens. We had stone circles where a lot of the alchemy and a lot of the, our ceremonies were performed. As well, I taught what they call blade dancing. And so blade dancing is it's a martial art form of dance that in case that you have weapons. So the weapons were enchanted as well. And my enchantment was fire. So I've carried that down with me even to this day. I still work with fire. It's my element. But
seems like we're all four of us are fire.
You really? Oh my.
Yeah.
Jeez, we're all the original.
Water too.
Yeah, me too.
Wow, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we got fire going on back there. I got fire behind me.
Isn't always that, yeah, we would
it was an art, and I used to teach it to people that wanted to learn how to use it, and it was used for protection against other warring races, most likely, especially a lot of the reptilian races. And I do want to say one thing. So people, when you mention the word reptilian or draconian, people are, they're all, bad reptilians, whatever. But I do want to tell you, there are a lot of reptilians that I have met along my way that are not bad. And I just want to put that out there so people know. Draconian races too, they get them very confused, because that's like saying American or European. That's like saying all Europeans are bad. Right. So no, that's not it. But so just with that note, the ones that we needed to, fight, we did. There was a race called the Fimspionsi that lived out in the Vega Prime system, and they were actually a smaller reptilian type race, and they didn't really cause us any trouble at all. They actually helped us at times. So another race that I will say they're the Lizzies. The Lizzies are like more of like a crocodile type. They walk up and they have long tails, and they're very reptilian, but they have lost their way. Their Stargate out of here, and they have to survive. So, they do the best they can. They actually live down in the ground, down in some tunnel systems around Mount Shasta. So they're around, and they're not bad. So people, feel their energy or start to communicate with them, and they're pretty cool, actually. I mean, I wouldn't go, in there if you don't know them personally.
Yeah, because they could be real grumpy.
They can. They'll be like, "Who are you?" Yeah. So they're not really like these big bad reptilians like everybody else thinks. So I just.
How did we tune into the cat people? Like just the name is hard for me to tune into, because it's so different than what I'm used to hearing. So it's like I need to. Do you, in your book, will you have that listed, like the names of the places, like that kind of thing, so we can see
where the felines come from? The different. Yeah, I can do that. I'll be listing a lot of Lyrian information.
Yeah, because that's to pin it with it, like what they kind of look like or their characteristics or something with that, to that would help people find their species or race more, I guess, since there's so many. So
that's very true. It's a very good idea to do that for people. That sounds good.
Remember when I was telling you?
I wanted to ask you about the golden light. Were we using that for healing? Because a couple years ago, I was working on a client that had a home invasion, and her psychologist sent her to me. And I was pulling this golden light after I was done Reiki, and I cover them in that. And it's like living. And I just
Uh-huh.
leave their face out like they're in their sleeping bags like that. And I was pulling it down, and she says, "Are you putting golden light into me?" And I said, "Yes." And I kind of just stepped back because I was like, "You can see that?" She's like, "Yeah." But then I was also told I used to do this fire dance that would make people go crazy. And you're the only other one I've heard talk about that. And I was wondering if it was a Lyran thing. Was there some kind of weird erotic thing we do that would make guys go crazy and kill
Yeah.
each other, basically?
Oh yeah, I'm actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. But yeah, there's a story that I experienced, and it goes way back to part of the creational process for our species. There was a planet that we did, and it did not even on a planet, but we were on a fire and like ash planet, but within certain areas of creational domains, especially when creation was being created back, like I'm talking in the early, mists of everything. When we were all in Lyrian forms at that time. There were dances that were done by the Lyrians, the more of the anthro felines and the tigers, the leopards, the lions, the tigers, the black leopards. So we danced an erotic dance, and it was actually a dance of creation. We weren't we were creating things. And it's like a circling type dance, but it's very like I said, an erotic dance. And it's not really about sex. It is about divine unity and divine connection. So it's just the connection of the soul to creation. And through the embodiment, it was done in a sexual erotic way.
That's interesting that you say that, Kristy, because last night I had a dream that there was four of us. We had our hair up and we were dancing. We were not having sex, but we were kissing each other. Very affectionate, and it was like I said, it was not like sexual. Yes, it was erotic, but
Right.
that's weird. That's weird that you say that, because I'm serious. I had that dream last night.
So intimacy doesn't have to be sexual,
Right.
obviously, but the anchoring in of the frequencies that you are bringing down or bringing up, or intertwining with whoever you're engaging this with, it's that tantric. It's the tantric energy, the holy energy, if you will. It's that divine energy. So we all have the capability of embracing that energy. Unlocking it and knowing how to use it properly is a whole nother thing. Felines naturally hold that frequency. They hold that energy. And so that's why cats are known to be promiscuous, or, you ever watch cats in heat, or, crying. It's not like they're trying to kill each other, but they're not. They're having a good time.
Yeah.
Mostly frequency and energy that drives their will. So if you will, it's a will, a life force that's inside of them, a creational force. And so during these dances, these fire dances that the felines would do, they were creating new galaxies, new frequencies. They were anchoring down frequencies. It wasn't what it wasn't what it looked like.
Sorry, Kristy. What it is we were bringing down the blue argon, and that comes from the sun, and that's what they use blue Kona
Right.
technology for the secret space program.
Right.
That's what we were.
If you have the ability to use all of your feline abilities, you can use them for whatever you need them to.
You know what?
And
Those big lions, they actually came to me with their armor. I'm not kidding. I want to cry because when I was going through the cancer surgeries, oh my gosh, you guys, they showed up. My Lyrians showed up. They were in a ship and they came to me and they said, V, we're with you and we're your family. And that just, I love them. They're the good
they're
ones.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
all of our feline folk are always with us. They're our guardians. They're our family. They're always there. And that's why, you got to remember, the Lyrians were the ones that seeded humanity. They were the original creators of the human genome to be placed here. So, it gets a little confusing because other races came in and hijacked the DNA and reversed DNA. They reversed templates. They started damaging DNA, original DNA. And so, but that original first coding was coded through the Lyrians. So everybody on the face of the earth holds a small to large percentage of Lyran DNA.
Yeah, when you said that, I saw that the Nordics came in and tried to screw with our DNA, and then that's when the Draco came in and tried to get our DNA because they're fascinated. Also, the Aldebaran, they're fascinated with the blonde and blue eyes, the redhead. I was born with blonde hair, green eyes, and then it turned fiery red, just like the picture behind you, Christy. And it's just interesting, the different races that want to acquire the DNA.
They do. They want to destroy it or make sure we don't have the abilities to utilize that DNA. So it's control, manipulation, how it works down here. And we're in 3D. So this is where the work needs to be done.
Do you remember when we was talking about the House of Killator, I found that my Lyrian father came from, or his name was? How would I find more information about that, about him?
Well, you would probably want to, if you can connect with your family or your Lyran family and ask them. It's all about resonance. So when you hold your frequency to a higher level of awareness, you can resonate with others' frequencies. And it's not like we can't do it. We all can do it. We just have to be open to it and ask for it in the highest good, so other things don't come in. And they can. But if you can hold that, a certain frequency, you can connect with other beings, and other beings of light will know you're there, and then you'll see other things, but they may not approach you. They may back off because they see your true self of who you are. You just have to intentionally ask from your heart center, and have heart coherency, and actually have the will, have that determination of will that is true and forthcoming. It's the intention, really.
Because the channeler said that my name is Vija.
Vija, yes, that resonates with me. When I saw your eyes the last time we talked, and I looked into your eyes, and almost brought tears to mine.
Oh, like a recognition.
See your Lyran soul, you know what I mean? It's very powerful. There's a lot going on. So with it, when you hold, like, you get into an energy signature and you start to read it, you start to feel it and absorb it, and then at that point, you kind of merge with it a little bit, and I can feel who your being, your highest soul.
Yeah, I can see my lion father. He's like a warrior, like different colors of the golden lion,
Right. Yep.
I need to say something, Christy. If you don't mind, you can actually hold on to a crystal. What I do is I just close my eyes when I'm ready to go to bed, and then I go into the Akashic records, because you just said the library, and it's really interesting. In 2017, I was flying and floating in this huge library, and it very tall, beautiful, and there was this lady that was floating in a white dress, and she had brown hair pulled up all the way up, real curly. And she said, here, let me show you how to float in this. This is the library of where we keep everything. And I'm like, what an honor. And she taught me, because what I was doing is I was hitting the ceiling and wanting to go through, which I could, but she's like, wait, lower yourself to this area here. The bookshelves were like right here, and I was still floating a little bit on in between, and because they were really tall, and there were stairs and everything. So right now, when you said the records, you can do that too, guys. You know, right, Kristy?
Yeah, some people can. There's different records. So there's Akashic records that are for universes, and then there's Akashic records that are outside of our time vector, universal like records, and then we have the Hall of Records. That is where I was before I was born, which is a whole different thing. So you have to kind of know what records you want to access and what area you're accessing it for what reason. As long as you can get to them and, you know, interface with them, you can find out what records they are. Even the whales hold records within them. There are actually even crystal whales that do exist. And that's part of the constellation of Tau Ceti. So there's
But
so
they're also
many
in the 13 crystal cities, and I wrote about it in the book. And
nice.
I showed the crystal cities and then the mermaid beings. It's really interesting. And then these are the humanoids, the gray aliens that came to my daughter. And this is the original book. The other one is 301 pages, but on the one that's on Amazon, it doesn't have this one. So whoever purchased that book with this being, they're lucky. And then I also wanted to show Kristy's book, because she talked about Susan and I here, and it's just an
We got it.
honor. It's an honor, you guys. Thank you for letting me.
Thank
be
you for
here.
getting that.
I'm gonna order it Wednesday when I get paid.
Yeah,
Had to buy a car, and a bunch of other stuff came up, so I didn't have any money recently.
And then Susan,
Very
she
good.
would always tell me that I would shapeshift when I first started on the first channel. And I go, you do too. You know, you're my lion sister.
Mhm.
I saw my Lyrian aspect the first time when I was at ESETI for the Lionsgate conference in 2019, and I thought I knew something was contacting me, and it was funny because I ended up getting these Nikes with like a leopard print on them before I went there. And I remember I ordered a 9.5, and they felt too small. And when I came back, both of the boxes said size 10. And I'm like, I know I ordered a size 10, and the one that didn't fit right was a 9.5, but that was weird. And now I get a lot of well, I have had people tell me that they'll look up at me and see a lion face even recently, and I'm like, oops, yes, I always
Yeah.
go to the love, and I pull in the Lyrian frequency, because I don't know, that feels like the highest frequency of healing and love to me when I do that.
I agree. You do have
know what?
very high energy for Linus, yeah.
Sorry, can I just interrupt again? Susan, oh my gosh. Okay. This is weird. I've been wanting to ask someone. Okay. So you were talking about shoes. Well, when I went to Savannah, and this is before I knew that I had cancer, but I didn't know like how many surgeries I had to have and all that stuff. And I went to visit a friend, Mary Ann. She made a tiger. I had ordered a tiger purse from her, and she said, Veronica, I knew I was making it for someone, but I didn't know it was for who until I met you. And she invited me to go. She paid for everything. So I went over there, and she even gave me my tennis shoes where I wore with the Hulk. I don't know if you guys remember that I was putting all kinds of wild Hulk videos because I dressed up like the Hulk. It was Halloween when I got there, my favorite, time of the year.
Yeah.
And then she actually gifted me Nike, her Nike. There's these like Aire, like real tall, high top shoes. I forget what they are. Air Force One, I think they are. Yeah, my son's like, oh my gosh, she actually gave them to you, Mom. And I'm like, yeah. And she painted them green and they were white. Well, they fit perfectly. And then yesterday I was like trying to wear them so I can go to the gym and they wouldn't fit. I told my son, what's going on? Like, I even unlaced him. So I don't know. What do you think? It's shape shifting, right? It has to be.
Yeah, your foot grew bigger.
I know. The whole She-Hulk.
Yeah, you're not pregnant, are you? Because my feet would grow with every pregnancy.
Oh, not in this, but I was used over there. You know where? On the flip side for the breeding program.
So I gotta ask you girls a question. Do you have any extra ribs or extra like bigger ribs on the bottom? Because I have extra ribs that are like they're a Lyrian feature, and sometimes you have an extra bone there underneath. It's for
Well, they did take out my lower left lung in January,
okay.
and I can feel my ribs. I could feel like it's still very painful, but
Yeah.
it was like in the way, I guess, of my body.
So
Mhm.
the lions have an extra rib.
They all the felines have extra ribs.
An extra floating rib or an extra rib? You got me feeling
Like
about
bones, and they're big, like round. Mine are big, round, like
Yeah.
knobs. They come back around, and they're
I
there.
felt them.
So when we're fighting, we have that extra
Yeah.
protection.
I have
I
big
know. I
bones.
know my ribs are really, really strong. And Kristy Wixon, real quick, Asha. I felt her ribs because I met her, and I'm like, we just fell in love right away. Like we knew we were sisters. We knew we were in the SSP. We started talking, and she was doing all her wand, and I have a video on her on my channel if you guys want to watch her. She's fucking badass. She's my like,
Yeah.
Thanks.
but she's like, here, feel my ribs. I'm like, ooh, I feel it. I can feel
Yeah,
my-
yeah, who's teaching me?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
That was
Oh,
pretty good night.
that's fun to get together. When everybody gets together and dancing and having fun, we have fun at the conference. Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get to some of them. That's my next mission, is to get out there and get to some of them.
We like dancing like we were, like the lionesses, like that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I dance all the time.
Yeah.
Probably all three of us or four of us together would get in some serious trouble.
Oh yeah, we would. We take over the show.
Mm-hmm.
But we're
I
not
recorded Kristy.
harmful. There's nothing harmful. It's just all,
Oh,
No, like
move.
seductive and all that, but having fun in our own way, like
Right.
that.
It's just
We're
for
having
me,
fun.
movement and rhythm of, the music is the sound frequency is what drives us. It's what
Yeah.
keeps us in our place, our connection. It's all about music.
I like
All
the
about,
raves and stuff, the rave music and all that with the lights and dark and just
no.
dancing like that. Mm-hmm.
I
I love
recorded
that.
you, Christy Campbell. And
Yeah,
then you recorded me, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Like you just let go.
yeah.
It was fun because we already
I love to
worked
see
so
that
hard.
video again because I had only seen like half of the video, of me dancing and stuff. So if you still have that, I'd love to have that copy again of that. It was so fun because the Adam was dancing like he came out from the DJ booth, and then Veronica was dancing there too, and I knew his energy was hyper, so I knew it was gonna impact her. And I said, watch, she's gonna get so hyper now. And you did. You was like dancing like with the scarf thing, and you was like, there. I was cracking up. It was hilarious.
was
I
that
had
your
the most fun.
in Florida?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I watched part of that. That was amazing. I
It
was
was so
supposed to
fun.
be there, but
Yeah.
travel, on the other side of the country. I mean, yeah, so the
Yeah.
US.
We'll
On the
get
other
to one someday, all of us,
Talk to Brian if he's gonna do it again, Wixon, because he helped all of us to go.
when does that conference usually happen?
Usually it's July. Like last time it was what, like the second week, gals?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I'll
the
talk to
second year. So I don't know if we're gonna have it next year. And then he said we were gonna get invited to Sedona, but I don't know when that's gonna be. I'd love to go.
Yeah, we'll probably all meet up there sometime.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Or any
Yay.
place, wherever we do meet, that'd be fun for us.
Right.
Even if it's not at a conference, like
You
that
guys
too.
can come to Tucson. If you want. It's like desert.
Mhm. That's
Yeah.
good. That's all right.
Sedona. Yeah.
So what's some jewels that we would wear as lionesses? Some jewels.
Well, we did wear a lot of different jewels. There was a lot of green stones, a lot of from violet, like violet stones. They didn't, some of them had names, some of them were in Lyrian tongue. They weren't gems that you would find on Earth. They were had more of a crystalline structure to them. And
Like
more
from
they were
asteroids.
yeah, they were faceted differently. There was a thing called the Kyrium crystal that we used a lot, and it was like a base crystal, and from that crystal you could actually create other crystals. So from the structure of it, the makeup of it, I wanted to mention, since you said that, there on my planet, when I grew up there was a crystal seed tree that we had on our planet Maa'Kaa, and it had little tiny crystals that grew off of the tree.
Wow.
The tree was anchored like almost like a tree of life. It was anchored down into the planet, and there was what we call the eternal thread. So the eternal thread came through and would anchor down into the planet. It was the life force of Maa'Kaa, which all different planets have different, either they have a sentient a being that they are, or they're not. Some planets don't have that. They're just an embodiment of solidness or structure, but they don't carry. Not all planets have like, if you will, an entity or a sentient being.
What
But
would be
this
some of our roles that we would have? Like, what was your role there? Like your work, or what did you do?
oh, a
Can I
Maa'Kaa?
answer? Can I just say one thing before you guys move on, because it is about the plants. So
Okay.
it's a crystal. What I was on a planet where you know how they do the whole Christmas thing here? It's the red one here. What's it called?
Yeah.
The poinsettia? Well, in
Right.
Mars, when I was in Mars, I saw the white poinsettia looking down to me because I was looking up on the ground. I was already like half of my face and my body was blown out, and they were just um what's her name? Forget her name. What's her name? She's in Canada right now. She picked me up on her ship and then took me to my family. So, but I was watching the beautiful, they were crystal clear and they were white. And in the middle, they had this, like, it looked like a dew, but it was actually crystal. And it was two of them in the middle, and they were speaking to me like telepathically. And they were saying, we're protecting you while you're waiting to get picked up. So I thought that was really interesting that you said that.
This is really interesting. There are crystal spiders that live on Mars too.
Yes.
I don't know if you've encountered them, but they are there. So
Yeah.
people don't.
They're nice.
Some people.
Some of them are nice
They
to
are.
me. I like spiders. They're my favorite. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry,
kind
go ahead.
of partial to arachnid races. But anyways, this seed tree that we had, we called it the giving tree, because it would give to you things, and you could pick a crystal, and we used to put them in our mouth, and then we could breathe underwater with them. So they
Oh,
were a little
wow.
breathing apparatus that we would just put in our mouth and dive, and we could, be down there for a good hour.
Oh.
I know, it was a lot of fun.
There's also AI underground. I have seen under the water the very beautiful blue like Kristy has behind on one of her wolves. It's that kind of blue, and then there's purple, white, pink, and yellow, and black. They have artificial intelligence also under there, but there's these species of beautiful just plants and the whole like the sponges are blue, most of them that I saw, and purple. They're amazing, you guys. And they also have the AI with them, which is also the crystal technology. And
There is sentient AI, and it's also, there's mechanical AI and sentient AI, but it's comes in both forms. So what I mean is, like, a species like like the Lyrians could create they could use that technology and use it for, you know, positive things. And so it's just how it's constructed, how it's created, from what matter it's created. Because so a lot of the reptilian races that use a lot of the AI use it from dark matter, and it's created out of, you know, darkness and a lot of density in it. There's a lot of, yeah. So the magnetic overlay that is used, you know, it's just how it's made. And so just because it's AI, if it's made correctly and used in a positive manner, it's not a bad thing. But it's the intention that is behind all of it and how it's created
You're
that
right.
make for, you know, good for us or bad for us. Because there's like tons of AI millions and millions of years ago, and it's just now being brought down to this dimension and used here. But unfortunately, there's a lot of dark AI too. So you have to be able to differentiate between the two, and for what reason that it needs to be used for. Because it can be pretty, you know, amazing if it's used the proper way.
What did you say your work was, like working and stuff?
Oh, well, I was a blade dancer, and being on Maa'Kaa, I was a teenager, but I was teaching blade dancing in the Alabaster Temple.
Oh, nice. That sounds fun.
So being a warrior,
Mhm.
I was a warrior. The K'tai, actually, we were kind of a rogue feline race that split off from some of the other K'tai, and we just kind of wanted to be the ones that did something about a lot of the worn races, that wanted to fight, wanted to go out there and do something. Not to say that it really did a whole lot, because in the end, we really got our ass handed to us by the Reptilian Empire, and the Black Sun entities. So, but we were the ones that didn't want to give up, and we wanted to keep, you know, defending our territory, defending our planets, because they were being overrun, they were being taken over, they were being destroyed. During the Orion Wars, it was just a horrible time for a lot of us. But
Do you
that's
think
what
that timeline replays? Do you think some Lyrians relive it, like they create a thing or something like that?
there is a so we are everything that ever was, will be, or is. We hold the frequency to access past, present, and future, and even outside of the time vector fields, the time fields of there's time lords that actually control time fields, and one area is called the time sweep bridge, and it bridges the different time vectors and the realities. So when you're outside of those time fields, you see things differently. Even sometimes it even runs backwards. It can run in different, so not only do you have timelines, but you being part of all of the creation that you're part of, you have accessibility to all these different areas of consciousness that you either were, are, or will be, because time doesn't really exist. It's just a concept of this lower dimensional frequency that we live in. It's in the higher realms, there's no such thing as time. Once you get past the 9th dimension, there's no time. There's just creation.
Who do you think that this is, this lady?
Who is that? It's a good
She
question.
has like a blue hair.
Work. Yeah. Her face is interesting to me. There's a blue race of felines that I know. They're lion beings. Who is she, Kristy?
She seems like motherly figure. Maybe it's my mother or something.
Yeah, she looks almost Andromedan or even Arcturian to me, in a sense.
It's like Susan.
There's a lot of high frequency energy with her. Did you know that the Andromedans and the Arcturians were actually created from the Lyrians as well?
I have
Um,
lives in Andromeda. Mhm.
yeah, Andromeda was very close.
Mhm.
And it's such a big place that a lot of beings came from there. And on way back in millions of years ago, and this is one thing I just kind of wanted to put out there too. There was the Galactic Federation of Worlds that the Lyrians did work with, and they continued to work with. There are other factions and other federations that have taken over since then that are not uh, positive, and they go by other Federation names. So you know, it's kind of like the Federation of Worlds was a very old federation that worked with some of the beings from the beginning. Um, when we all worked together, we were all trying to keep peace in the sectors, along the trade routes, because there was trade routes and there was a lot of mining of planets going on. And that's how Earth got to be such a crazy place, because it was used as pretty much as a dumping ground for species genetics. They dumped a lot of their genetics here. Even as they traveled by, they would dump debris here. So
Christy, do
fast.
you remember which Lyrians wore gray military uniforms? Because I've met one here, and she was as tall as me, and she had a gray military uniform on. She was telepathing me.
That's a good question. I'm not really familiar with that. When I did my work there, I had a specific area that I had to work in. I do know, I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't know
Yeah.
which which faction you're actually talking about. I wish I could know who that is. I know there's certain factions that wear blue like jumpsuits that look like the ones on Star Trek, and they
Yeah,
even have like a little emblem on them. Yeah. Uh,
they wear blue and then green, and I'm getting Antares. Maybe ask if they're from Antares in your dream or something.
yeah, I don't know on that one. If there's anybody in the audience that knows, please leave a comment.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We would like to know.
Do we have any questions in the audience?
Let me see. There's one person that says, Jacqueline said, Lyrian saved my life so many times off-world, and Kristy saved my life here at least 10 times in 2024, including putting my astral body in her family's sanctuary when the implants in my body started popping. And then he says, and no one could save my life because of the corrosion and heavy metals in my bloodstream.
True. There was my father. My father is a big white lion. His name is Maa'Kaa.
I've seen him many times, and
Yes,
how
an
I remember,
admiral.
like white. It's I've seen, if it's him, he's white, and he has a white crown and a white it's silver uniform, and he's big, and he has the breastplates, and oh gosh, the white fur. I don't know. I've seen that entity before in my dreams.
Has a lot of golden armor, but sometimes he'll wear like a 16 pointed blue star right on his like breastplate. Yeah, so you'll see that. But I mean, there's a lot of white lions out there. So
I just got this.
yeah, we each have a house. So the House of Maa'Kaa is my house. But there's a thing called a zephyr wheel, and the zephyr wheel was planted in the heart center. It's a crystalline object that is a star. It's a star chart, but it's also a tracking device. It's like a GPS system, and it was put in to keep track, monitor, and it has healing technology too as well. So there's a lot of that my family works with, and I don't always know what they're going to do. Like they may just come up and be like, well, you need this or you need that, or we're going to do that to you. And I'm like watching them going, okay.
It's interesting, Kristy, because when I had the PET scan, which it was horrible because it had like the radiation that I didn't want. But after that, they did a heart scan and they had to extend it because the guy said, oh, wait, your heart seems to be like hardening. And I'm like, no. And then he says, this is weird. And then he had to inject me with some kind of fluid. He told me what it is. I forget what it is. And then he says, oh, okay, you're okay. And I go, well, why are you doing the study? Well, if you need radiation or chemo, you'll be okay with that. I said, no, I refuse the radiation and chemo. Hell no. But that's really interesting. Like, I've had 32 surgeries, going on 33. And they just can't explain how I'm still here because, you know, I have titanium. I'm pretty much, they took my colon out, they put it back. They don't know how I'm still hanging on. I said, it's our star power, you know, and we have our implants, and the implants, yeah, you're right. Some of the Lyrians did put it in, some of the Draco did as well, and some Grace. So some of it is good for our healing. But then, you know, we have to be careful because, you know, who can biohack our bodies and then pretty much short circuit us or our heart. So we have to be careful. They also can mess with your bladder because we have, you know, the overlay in our heart, our bladder, and in our mind, in our, you know, we're born with they implant the back of our head once we're born. They prick our little feet when we're born to make sure that that's us from the star galaxies that we're coming from. So we have to always put shields up, like protection. That's what I encourage everyone to do. Always protect yourself.
Oh, definitely. Shielding is always a good thing. Learning how to access your abilities, which people can learn how to access their abilities. Your DNA has to be turned on a certain amount to be able to access it. And that's part of why, I don't know how to say this. I like to work with light therapy. So I was going to mention that real quick. To heal DNA on a cellular level, and to activate dormant DNA or DNA that has been damaged, the way to do that is through phototherapy. And phototherapy is activated through copper peptides in your body. Light therapy and phototherapy. There's also sound therapy, and we all know about the infrared lights, and you know, like back people used to use Rife machines and different frequencies to heal. So it's all about frequency again. It's about tone, frequency, light. And light actually travels on sound, so it's part of sound, but it's separate from sound.
What is it? The EDMR or EMDR, what is it? EMDR, something where you have the red lights flashing when you can go into like a session.
Correct. Yep. But LifeWave is, I have to say this because it's important. LifeWave, I've been on LifeWave for over a year, and my body is healed, and it is phototherapy. I did want to put a shout out there also to Laura Eisenhower. She's a good friend of mine. Yeah. And I signed up under Laura. Her and I are both brand partners for LifeWave, and we have our links in the chat, I believe. So if anybody's interested, and you can sign up under her or you can sign up under me, it doesn't matter, but either way, it helps both of us and it helps you guys, and it's amazing. It's really amazing. They're coming out with light infused water that will be coming out for people, a water machine, and it's extreme. It's expensive, I will tell you that, but apparently heals you on a cellular level, and just heals your DNA on such a high frequency. So
and I saw that in Florida, and the guy that showed me that he had like carbon like charcoal things, like a filter. Is that the one kind of that you're talking about?
Yes, it's like infused water, because water holds memory. Yes, and you can activate it or infuse it to have it used as a catalyst to heal you. Even if you're drinking a cup of water and you want to heal your body, your words can put healing into the water, or use crystals or whatever. Don't use a stone that's not not meant for water. but use something that you can put in there to amplify it, even some salt and
Okay.
talk to your water and tell it
Oh,
you love it, that you would like for some healing from the water, and drink it, and it changes
oh yeah.
everything in it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can even go like this and then get your star power going and clear the water for
Yeah.
sovereignty. Yeah. Can you feel
Yeah.
it?
Bringing up your chi. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of us have life force. We all have the prana and the mana, and work with that as well. If you
Kristy,
do Reiki, you know.
can I give you a shout out, because when I after I met you, you said, I was told the ribbon of truth lays upon you as your feet once bound can be freed, set forth unto the mighty one of the serpent green dragon of the deepest sea. You wrote this for me. Laid within the tides. Do you remember? Laid within the tides of change. You now hold the keys to life within you, and victory remains your side. Come forth unto thee, Holy One, set your scepter down. Only now you can stand in pureness as you take your proper stand, green dragon by your side. Love will be your guide. So thank you for that. I just want to say thank you.
You are so welcome. That came to me when I was with you, and I had to bring forth the message. So thank you for sharing that. It's been a while since I've heard it.
Thank you for Christy Campbell, man. She's like putting this together.
Oh yeah, this is Kristy's. I wanted to let her share everything about the lions, though, since she told me about the Irma. So I wanted to help others find out too, and promote your book and everything too, because that's going to have a lot of information for everybody in it.
Right. The first book that I'm writing is called The Radiant Starlight, and it's actually a field guide for the stars. It's a guide that actually is going to be in my other book. So one book is inside the other book, and the other book, Eternally Starborn, The Remembrance, and the book is about ascension. It's about heart coherency. It's about unity consciousness. It's about love, really, and how to love ourselves, how to love each other. And we are all doing the work. I mean, I'm still doing my own work, my inner work, working with my inner shadows, how to take what you're learning down here and actually try to make it reality, manifest the good part of yourself. And it's not easy. It's really not easy, but it's accessible, and we all have the ability and the capability to hold these frequencies. When we hold these frequencies, they anchor into the earth, and they anchor into the ley lines, into the grids, into the nodes, and activate different things that the earth needs for her ascension process as well. Because as we ascend, the earth needs to ascend with us. We all have to ascend together, and it's all frequency and tone. Everybody talks about light, and light is great, but sound, it's the sound is what anchors in the light. If you remember, of ever hearing about the great I am, and the Om, the hum, the cosmic hum of creation, that is the tone of creation. So out of the great void of all knowing came the Om, the hum, the creational song. That was before even light existed. And then light was what rode upon the sound. And through the sound and the light, that was where, everything was brought down into form. It was the first beginning part of form being created. So.
Yes. And I'm also going to share on the chat when you and I were on after I met you in Oregon. Okay. That was fun.
That was fun.
Let me show you the drawing I did.
My goodness, that was so beautiful.
Love it.
Wow. I love your light language too. A lot of light languages come through, and I identify with a lot of it.
Hmm.
There
That's
is
what I do best is try was like a scribe or something. Like I must be like a scribe.
yeah, you are.
Yeah.
She would write like stuff on my arms when we were in
Yeah.
Florida, so I'm
Hmm.
grateful for that.
Like all
Yeah.
that. Hmm.
A sigil too.
Yeah.
Yes. And then yesterday I started writing on myself, and I'm like, oh, I miss Kristy writing on me. I'm like, I'm gonna write on
I
myself.
know. See, I write all this kind of
Oh,
thing all the time.
I can't wait to get mine. Get
Yeah.
yours to. It's awesome.
And then, oh, it says Third Eye Tribe says scribe talk energy. Yeah, we had said that you are, Kristy.
Uh-huh. Is
Wow.
that is Jack Flynn still in the audience? Because does he have a message or question or something? Because I'm thinking
It
of
said
him.
Hanova codes and unconditional love, and then Hanova codes. That's what
What
he
is
said.
that?
I don't know. He just put HANOVA codes.
Hanova is the creational hub for this universe, but
Hmm.
it's
Okay.
not in this universe. It had to do with the creation, some of the creational process here. Hanova is one of the super universes of creation, and it's the original focal point for all of the universes. So it's where the great central sun is. There was the double diamond sun, there was emerald suns, but this was the original central sun of creation. So that was a very specific area.
Thought energy. Oh,
I
Third
just
Eye Tribe said thought energy. I was reading it. Yeah, Jack Flynn, I was thinking of you, so I didn't know if you had a message or something for us.
Right.
I just heard the hub of the three suns, central energy, when you were talking about the suns, because I have seen two suns here in Tucson, actually, because Tucson is two suns. But I have in 2016, I have seen them. I took pictures of them, two suns.
Yeah. A lot of people think it's Nibiru or whatever, but it's not. Nibiru is not here in this universe right at this time. We have an old sun that is dying out, and it's been dying out. It's not dying out. I mean, it's not died out yet, but it's losing its, velocity. So another sun simulator was actually brought in.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
It. Yep.
Mhm.
It's actually a plasma sun that we have now. It's very white and very hot, but it's not really putting off a lot of damaging radiation. It's bringing in a lot of plasma energy, and the plasma energy is actually going to anchor again into the earth and help with the new frequencies that we're working on here. It's all about we're in a very special time called the Great Awakening, and it's not like, oh, you do all this work and then like we all jump into another timeline or whatever, but we have to do this inner frequency work, and then the earth will anchor in the frequency light that we bring in, or that she harnesses. So what she feels, we feel, and vice versa. And the earth has been, many different things on many different timelines. So we're still in 3D. We're trying to raise the frequency to at least 5D, and hold a high frequency. If you notice, the Schumann has been going up crazy, and we've had blackouts, we've had whiteouts, we've had timeline jumps, we've had spikes, and all this crazy stuff going on. And that's because people are actually they're anchoring in the frequency. They're doing the work. It needs to be, and the more you become aware, the more open things are going to become.
The particles that you're talking about, Wilhelm Reich did a study back in the day. He was looking through a microscope, and then so he saw the glowing particles that they were like tiny amoeba. He said they were the atom of life. He called them the bions. So they assemble together to make life, even if out of inorganic materials. And then what he did is, when he turned off the lights, he would see that they would glow. So what he did one day is he took the bions out of the room, of the black room. Well, they were still emanating light. So it's very
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah, that
That's
is
what
cool.
I call bioluminescence, you know?
Yeah,
That's
what
what
they
we
were they
are.
because yeah, sounds
Mhm.
like it. That's amazing. That's great.
It's interesting.
When you have different elements that are, scientific, down here we have a dense atmosphere, so we have a lot of molecules in the air, a lot of like water in the air, even in our, even though we may have ions and neutrons and different things happening, there's a lot of fluidity, so these things actually activate quickly. This planet was meant to be a water planet.
Yes.
From the original stage of Earth, which was actually called Tetra 19, in her first dimension one, her first stage of creation, she bumped into the second D, which was actually Tiamat. And so in Tiamat form, she was huge, and she had 70% plus oceans, and that's where the original like water serpents were created into. They were keepers of this earth.
Like a water dragon, kind of like something like that.
They are kind of, yeah, they're water dragons, but they were called
Horses too. They're the horses, the water horses as well.
There's two kinds. There's the hippocampus, and then there's what we call the kelpie. And the kelpie have a little more of an attitude.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I see them here. I see them in the air too. Like if when the wispies, I call them the wispies. I made a short video today live. I call them the wispies, but they're also called the jellyfish, but they're not fish. They're just like jelly. Anyway, today when I filmed it toward the sun, I saw one of the seahorses. And sometimes I'll see the whales. Like if I call them, they'll appear. So they're just
awesome.
beautiful beings. Some of the times they do call them tag-alongs because they do come from under the water and they will tag along to like a UFO or a military craft, and then they'll take information up. That's what the whales do. They'll take information up.
They're gathering information or sending information, communicating.
Everything is sentient.
Oh, definitely. Everything is sentient.
So how do people activate their angelic DNA to it says a lot of people carry unactivated angelic DNA, Surface Planet Radio said. So how do people activate their angelic DNA?
Okay, well, first of all, the chakra centers in your body hold a lot of magnetic frequency and a lot of chi energy. You really kind of need to do some of the work here physically, and it's physically and spiritually. So you can work on your body by doing meditation, doing breath work, doing get visualization. A lot of that stuff sounds silly, but it's really important. Grounding, learning how to be in communication with your body and how your body works, because it all works on a magnetic frequency. Once you learn how to control your magnetic frequency in your body, and it becomes a vehicle for other things, for light, for sound, and then consciously you can learn how to activate certain centers in your body. And again, I'm going to say it again, another physical thing is phototherapy. So it does activate DNA. It heals the body. It turns on DNA that we didn't realize we had. So it's a combination of a bunch of things. Thought is a very big thing. So if we think negative things, we're going to create negative things. If we focus on a lot of positive things, or we could heal our own bodies in a sense, even if we thought positive, because our own energy, our own frequency travels in our own body, and we use it or we abuse it. So again, part of the ascension process is learning how to work with the embodiment of everything we have available to us, whether it be spiritual, mental, physical, emotional, the emotional body, all those different bodies. And then we actually have 15 chakras. We have some that are up above us as well, and activating those etheric chakras in the higher realms. And I'm going to put this out there because it's really important. This is a big deal that people don't, they abuse, and I'm just going to say it. Sexual energy. Sexual energy is the base for creation, because we hold it in our womb, in our yoni, in our womb center. And so having that with a partner that knows how to move the energy and how to use it in a positive manner, you could create universes with that. If it's hard, if it's all down in the lower chakras and never gets up with an intention of love, like having that love frequency and that love energy come up through your body all the way to your crown, then you're going to be suppressing those fears and those traumas and those energies down into the lower base system, and it's going to get stuck there. And then when that energy can't move, that causes diseases, a lot of them, because it's stagnant energy that has not been circulated or released or transmuted, if you will. We have to all learn, and I am learning it too. I mean, I'm not perfect at any of this.
There's some codes.
I do.
Wow.
I teach sex magic. I teach sex magic.
Amazing.
Yeah, sex magic. You can do a lot with that, especially with the partner that you love.
A lot of people don't. I'm writing about it in my book, and it really kind of tells people how to go about it in a positive way, not in a negative way. Because again, if it's abused, then it's not beneficial.
Right. So, and if you give that energy to another entity that you want to have involved, that's not good either, because a lot of the past, if you look at the book Sex Magic, that even Susan has it wants to incorporate another being. Like we'll just choose a Hindu god to give it to. No, it's within you and that partner that you're staring at, and you're going to manifest what you're going to manifest while you're having an orgasm. Do you know how hard that is to do? Well, that takes discipline. Right. And another thing,
you don't actually have to be having an orgasm, because I activated my Merkaba and took him above Earth, and he wasn't able to do that. And he's like, "How do you do that?" So while you're doing your tantra, you just pull yourself way above the planet. And I was like, I just made this love bubble, and then I'm sitting up on like this little deck looking down at Earth. So because we went up all the way to, what's that? My soul star and the Earth stars in the ground. So
yeah, definitely. I know about that.
True. And then another thing that I see a lot of people still stuck in the synthetic weed and just drugs. And I'm like, okay, well, how are you going to be your highest and best if you're letting something that's controlling your body weigh your etheric body, down, your biofield? So when you drink excessively and when you do drugs, you're not protecting your aura, which is your shield. And Sabrina Wallace talks about this all the time. I've been following her for years. So it's really interesting how people really don't take care of their temple. It
is our temple. We have to nourish it. It gets up along the 3D journey, but trying to really connect with it and treat it the best we can is what we need to do.
And like Vera was saying in those books, it was telling us to activate, like, I don't know, it was like a moose or some crap like that. I'm like, I'm just going to activate myself because this is wrong. I knew that instinctively. And when I did that, then I made the Merkaba and was able to pull my partner with me. But that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. I talked to Susan about that a lot. It's very interesting what we learned. And then somebody else told me to get the Magdalena codes, or the Magdalene book, Mary Magdalene book. That also talks about sex magic too. But Susan's the one that when I gave the class a few years ago, she told me, hey, maybe you should get this book. And It's called Sex Magic. But then I ordered that one and another one, the Mary Magdalene.
wow.
And it's a red book.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Oh, thanks for sharing that info too. It's always good to hear good books. All of us got our books out there or coming out, so it's pretty amazing.
About time. I'm still waiting for Susan to get hers out. Come on, Susan.
Yeah, I got to do that. But this was that book. Let me see if I can do it. It's called Sex, Sorcery, and Spirit.
Hmm.
That was that set by Jason Miller. That was that sex magic book that we did that podcast on a couple of years back.
That's awesome. Yeah. My book talks about it, a little bit about it in areas where it helps with the ascension process. It's part of the ascension process. But again, has to be done with the highest intentions in the right way for the right reasons.
Yeah, you can't be stealing people's life force so you could look younger.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
I'll behave. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, and when I don't know if people know this, but when you engage with multiple partners, which is not advisable, you carry their their signature with you, their energy signature, because you become quantum entangled with them. And then
there it is.
You can hold that energy up to 7 years in your energy field. And you take on everything they've taken on and vice versa. So you have to learn how to cut cords, how to release energy, how to, let some of that go. And it's not as easy as you think, because it does affect your aura, and your aura's colors will change depending on, what you have trapped within your field. So
yep. That's why I recommend y'all go celibate like I did. I have to. The CIA keeps sending
some more
shit,
codes.
so.
I keep writing all kinds of stuff.
That big thing in the middle was really cool.
I like the one on the bottom. It's like a balancer. The balance.
That's great.
The balance.
That's our energy. It must be, huh? Then it's interesting. Don't you think that is our energy? When I'm writing, I'm just tuning in to what y'all's voice and everything too.
Yeah, you're turning into that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And writing down, because some of the codes that you hold up, I can't, I feel like a whole cluster of them has like one download or that I'm getting from it. So this bunch of stuff, like in one area, just all of a sudden goes down, and I get like a download from it, but it's an energetic mode. There's no words involved in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can kind of feel it. I can feel it.
Get a lot of that coming from you. I do delegate in the high court systems for my Lyrian family, being that I'm part of my dad requested Maa'Kaa that I hold a seat in the high courts, where I see a lot of other people there. So there's a lot of like intergalactic species that are delegating what we call star delegations in their treaties of peace, in a sense, or sovereignty. We're trying to establish certain sectors and certain areas that are still warring, peaceful reign for transport and space travel in those areas, that so they can be, you're not killed when you go through certain areas. Certain stargates or certain trade routes there's still rogue factions that travel on some of these areas. And to be safe, there has to be it's time for the warring to stop. It's a lot easier said than done, because some of these species just don't understand that, and they don't want it. Again, what all of our galactic history wars came from. But without saying that, these delegations still do go on, and they're intergalactic. Some of the intergalactic meetings, or some of the, we have high court systems that actually different species come in from the different, like the Siren High Council, the Lyrian High Council, the Andromeda Council, the Plating Council, or you know, some of the chancellors, even from Venus, and they delegate on what is the best way, but we delegate in light language. So we have a translator, and some of it's translated that I can understand. I can't understand every species language. So others will delegate, and they will come up and be translators for their species. And then we go back to the debating again. And then it gets all, you know, written down and, you know, calculated and all that. So
This must be something here though that kind of feels like it's when you're saying to
oh yeah,
wars and stuff like that, and kind of maybe healing or so.
that actually, the one in the middle, and it comes down to the one I think on the right side because the camera's backwards.
This way,
Yep,
this
and
one.
then the one, yep, and then the one down underneath it. Those are both frequency codes. The ones on the bottom with like the notes and the spiral, those are a frequency code. So there's a lot of frequency code here. So this is about movement. There's a lot of movement here. And it's almost like telepathic movement to delegate stuff. It's not verbal at all. So it's all coming telepathically, and the movement is what's important through different species. I can see some of that in there.
Because you were saying about the war needs to stop, so then I was like doing like that, you know, with that.
Yeah,
so it kind of
they
feels
do
like
stop. And a lot of the spiral stuff, time is not linear. Time is how do I say this? Even Ascension is not linear. It spirals out. So when you hit over 3D into then get into 4D, which is the mental plane, and into 5D, which is the crystalline, it's like holds the true crystalline form of creation. It's where it starts. You're dealing with different frequencies, and a lot of those that you're connecting with are from 5D and above, because those codes are coming in probably about maybe 10 or 11D, and they're coming down.
yeah, my head is just buzzing.
I bet by the time they get down to us, you know, they're still holding their frequency, but they're not linear anymore. They're actually spiraling out. So the frequencies spiral out, and it changes. Like, it's hard to explain. I'm sorry. It's hard to explain in this reality, but once you get out of this reality and you see things in a different format. Yeah.
It just kind of comes to you too, because it's more telepathic of what you just know what it means too.
It is. Just so if you hear a song, I'm a kind of music incarnate here, but if you go into the music and you hear a song and you hear chords and you hear tones and notes, you see creation happening on those frequency bands, on those chords. They create something, and that chord, that length of that chord will hold that frequency for so long, and then that out of that comes another creation and another, you know, you can actually see music creating. The frequency of that sound creates things, and it creates something, this, you know, direction or whatever, or it can destroy things. It's a movement, it's fluidity, and all of us have that within ourselves. We have the fluidity of creativity. We all hold that creational force of tone and sound and notes, rhythm. It's all harmonics, and harmonics is celestial. All of it is.
Like this kind of from here.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. That's there. Wow. There's a lot going on there. Sorry. There's a lot. Yeah, that's good.
I keep drawing something like that, you know, with the seeding, like the bottom part's like a seed or so, like the music, and then seed in the frequency.
Yeah, and it also can absorb into other things. So you can take like a sound room, you know what I mean? It's actually, you're keeping that frequency within that within that parameter of the area that it's in, where it's not escaping into another domain or reality. You're controlling the sound frequency. So having soundboards and stuff.
Well,
I'm
do
all
you want to, we've
agree.
been going an hour and a half. Do you want to leave the listeners, the viewers, a message or anything? And then we're going to continue doing this, like if you want to do it like every other week or every month or something like that, just kind of whatever you're wanting to do.
Okay, no, sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing in the world at this time is love. And I'm love that is pure with pure intent. Because if we don't love each other, we don't learn love, and not just saying I love you, but actually learning how to express the meaning of the word into a full, I don't know how to say it, embodying that frequency and actually anchoring it into each other and into the world, the earth, because that love frequency, that's what we need most importantly here. And it's not being selfish, it's being selfless. And we all, being human beings or even hybrids or whatever we are down here, we're a mixture of a million things, to keep that frequency harmonized here and keep it anchored in. I think that's actually the most important thing we could do right now for all of us. And that means when things get really hard, and I've walked away from things too that were really hard, because you get the fear, you get the ego, you get the those things that come in. You have to learn how to, when you anchor it, you have to learn how to just embody it and give it freely. So that's the hardest thing to learn in the world, is what real love is, and where it has no boundaries, no conditions, no boundaries. And I don't think any of us have actually achieved it at this point. We are working on it and we're capable of it, but holding that frequency is a really hard thing to do. And it is part of the ascension cycle. If people can learn how to embody that or how to work on holding that frequency, that would be the most important thing in the world right now for people to do. It's one of the most difficult tasks to obtain too.
Susan and Veronica, y'all want to say anything? We're closing up.
Yes,
Y'all
I
want to
want
say?
to say thank you so much, Kristy Campbell and Kristy Wixon and Susan, for being on. Like I said, I was supposed to do this show last Wednesday, but I was in the ER, but I'm getting better. I just wanted to say that the hardest thing on earth is to know thyself, but I preach it regularly, because once you know thyself, then you will know what thought form is not yours, that'll make you do things that would hurt your prójimo. Prójimo in English, it's your neighbor, your other fellow human, hybrid, because we're all hybrids, right? But know thyself, right, Kristy? Because that way you won't be handled by MK Ultra or those handlers out there, especially in our community. For you're best friends with this person, then you turn around and you're talking smack about that person. Now you're best friends with that person. That person is like, no, you need to know thyself, ground yourself, know who the F you are. Know your power, because we're all very powerful. Thank you.
Yes, we are.
Susan, your wisdom.
My wisdom. Oh, I'd like to talk about this some more. I still got to get your book and Christy's. I need to start working on mine. If I didn't have to work so much to pay all my bills, I'd have more time to sit down and write. So yeah, I'll get there.
I'll show the codes that I got at the very end, so we can.
Oh, I like those. Those are
this way. I think it's this way, right? Yeah.
funny. Those look very harmonic.
Mm-hmm.
This
is my message to everybody.
That's a love. Look at that. Love, love, love. Love, love, and
Harmonic.
that's wow. That's great.
Can you flip it?
Then this
that
way.
Yeah, I want to see it that way.
Kind of
harmonics,
reminds me of water now, like of the ocean energy too.
enigma, sun codes. Oh gosh, there's so much.
Mhm.
Grounding,
Yeah.
breaking the first one, it says breaking the maze of creation, unnecessary reincarnation.
Oh,
Oh, good. Well, thank you all for coming in the audience. We appreciate you asking us questions and interacting with us too. And we'll probably like in 2 weeks, do you think, Christy? We'll announce it and just
Yeah.
kind of see, on how everybody is doing and stuff like that. It might be every 2 weeks or every month. It just depends on what all everybody's doing too.
okay.
And we can add more people too, right? If you
Yeah.
want to do that too. So if you want to be on, you can too and participate with us as well. So it's all for the Lions though. It's the Lyrian. That's our thing,
Yeah.
for the video.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Kristy, so much for having us all here tonight.
Yeah, thank you all for coming and for your time and everything too. So everybody have a good night. And I'm gonna stop the video. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye.